Today on the newscast, the U.S. and Israel are holding massive military drills this week as Israel looks to purchase advanced U.S. military hardware that could be critical for a strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. One U.S. defense official says that it may be the most significant military exercise ever held between the U.S. and Israel. It's taking place right now, folks. It began today. It lasts until Friday, January 27th, and it is called Operation Juniper Oak 2023. Again, a massive military drill involving the U.S. and Israeli militaries taking place right now in Israel and in the Eastern Mediterranean. We've got all the details about this major drill and what it means for Iran and China. Is there a message being sent here? Before I get into it, remember, the Israel Defense Forces exist to defend the Jewish state and prevent another Holocaust. Over 160,000 Holocaust survivors live in Israel today, and unfortunately 1 in 3 of them live below the poverty line, and instead of living their last years in dignity, they struggle with hunger and loneliness on a daily basis. Thankfully, our good friends at Meir Panim are stepping up to help. They've set up a Holocaust Survivor Day Center in Israel. It's a place where each Holocaust survivor receives daily meals and the opportunity to socialize with friends and enjoy life. They've certainly earned it, folks, after what they've been through. And for many survivors, the Dimona Holocaust Survivor Day Center has really become a second home. You see the URL there on your screen in honor of International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is coming up on January 27th. Please visit meirpanim.erickstakelbeck.com to donate to Meir Panim and help bless these Israeli Holocaust survivors. Folks, they need our support now more than ever, and I can't think of a better way to fulfill the biblical mandate found in Genesis 12:3 to bless Israel than by blessing these Holocaust survivors. Check that out. It's a great cause. And there's another cause right now, the cause of the Israel Defense Forces to stop a nuclear Iran. And Operation Juniper Oak 2023 perhaps could be a major step forward in that regard. Now, usually a major military drill of this size and scope would take perhaps at least a year in advance to plan, but this drill only took a few months to put together. It was even conceived before Benjamin Netanyahu took office again late last month as Israel's prime minister, yet you know he's in full support of this major military exercise. Here are some of the specifics. I mentioned it is perhaps the most significant according to U.S. defense officials. I'm going to give you the hard numbers just straight from my phone because I don't want to misquote. Here goes. Now, NBC News is reporting all of this. Not my favorite source, I know, but it's hard to get this wrong reporting on a military drill. So here are the numbers. Approximately 6,400 U.S. personnel have joined 1,100 Israeli personnel for this exercise, which will employ 142 total aircraft. Of them, 100 aircraft are from the U.S., including 4 B-52 bombers, 4 F-35 fighter jets, 45 F-A-18 Hornet fighters, and 2 MQ-9 Reaper drones. 6 U.S. ships, including a carrier strike group, and 6 Israeli ships will also participate. And lastly, this drill, which again lasts through Friday, it began today, it will culminate with a live fire exercise that will expend 180,000 pounds of live munitions while simulating attacks or suppression, I should say, of enemy air defenses and electronic attacks. As you can see, a lot going on, a lot of numbers there I just threw at you, I know. Please don't get lost, stick with me. But the main point here, a major military drill, obviously, from what I just laid out for you. So why now? And what message are Israel and the United States trying to send? Well, according to U.S. defense officials, these drills are meant to send a message first to Iran, no surprise there. And you know the driving force behind Israel participating in these drills is to send a message to Iran and to sharpen their tactics in advance of a possible strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. But second, U.S. defense officials also say it is a message to China. You might say China. This is a drill taking place in Israel and in the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea. Well, the U.S. apparently wants to show China, hey, we can mobilize a major military force. Although we're distracted by what's happening in Ukraine right now with Russia, if China were to, say, move against Taiwan, the U.S. is saying, hey, look how fast we can mobilize a large and lethal force. Now, again, obviously China, Taiwan is in the Pacific theater. This is in the Mediterranean, but that seems to be the message according to U.S. defense officials. And on the flip side, we have U.S. and Israel carrying out these drills, and they have carried out several joint drills in recent months and years. But on the flip side, hey, we've reported many times here in the newscast, folks, that Iran, Russia, China, and other rogue regimes have also conducted massive military drills together. So you have what I call the gathering storm. I call it the calm before the storm, but things aren't really calm, right? But you have a gathering storm of Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea in particular, far-flung ideologies, but aligned in their opposition to the United States and the West. And in the case of Iran, of course, strong opposition to Israel's very existence. So you have the chess pieces moving on the board. I believe ultimately these are prophetic chess pieces. It's interesting to see the U.S. coming alongside Israel in these drills, folks, because two things here. Number one, I believe that Israel will eventually strike Iran's nuclear facilities. I believe Israel will be left with no choice. But secondly, I do not believe, under this current administration in Washington, that the U.S. will offer Israel any kind of assistance in those strikes. I actually believe there's a good chance the Biden administration would condemn Israel. The Iran nuclear deal right now looks dead, as we reported last week, but I've compared it to like a zombie or a vampire, folks, where just when you think that Iran deal's dead, the West, sadly, always seems to want to revive it. So needless to say, the Biden administration does not want Israel to take action against Iran. But guess what? Israel very likely will be forced to do so to defend the very existence of the Jewish state. And by the way, imagine a nuclear Iran not only striking Israel directly, of course, in that threat, but providing a nuclear umbrella for the proxies, the ring of fire that surrounds Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, the Houthis, and the rest. The next time they act up and fire missiles and rockets at Israel, and Israel wants to respond, would Israel have to think twice because of a nuclear-armed Iran? I think so. Iran literally could provide a nuclear umbrella to its terror proxies. And guess what, folks? That is the goal for Iran. Now, last point here, Israel is looking to purchase 25 F-15EX Fighter Jets from the United States. We're talking about a strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. These F-15s are essentially have bunker-busting capabilities, can strike targets deep underground, can also carry hypersonic missiles, apparently. Israel put an order in about 3 years ago, back in 2020, and now they would like to see that order expedited. Now, reportedly, the U.S. won't deliver these fighter jets until 2028. And you have to think if Israel's going to act against Iran's nuclear facilities, it's going to do it much sooner than that. So Israel now is saying, hey, we'd like these fighter jets sooner rather than later. And you have to think, again, that the Biden administration is not going to be very eager to supply those jets soon because it knows very well that Israel may, or likely will, very likely will, use those fighter jets to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Folks, fascinating times. Never a dull moment in the world's most volatile and strategic region, the Middle East. We are glad you are here with us in 2023 and beyond as we bring you the inside story and why it matters to you in these Bible times we are living in and for such a time as this. Quick programming note, Watchman live stream right here on the channel Wednesday between, it's January 25th already, between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring your questions for our Q&A session. Until tomorrow, thanks so much for joining us. God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.